asked my husband if my guy best friend could join our relationship. He left without a word and didn't come home for 3 days. When Miles finally walked through the door, he looked like he'd been hit by a truck, unshaven, still in his work clothes from 3 days ago, eyes completely dead. I'd been sitting on our couch in the same pajamas for 72 hours, staring at my phone like it might magically produce an explanation for where my husband had gone. "Where have you been?" I demanded, as if I had the right to be the angry one here. "Driving, thinking, sleeping in my car at rest stops outside of town." His voice was hoarse, like he'd been screaming or crying, maybe both. He sat across from me, not beside me on our usual spot on the couch. Bad sign. "Miles, you can't just vanish for days because of one conversation." "One conversation?" He laughed, but there was no humor in it whatsoever. "Nora, you asked if your friend could join our marriage? After I've watched you two flirt for months. After you started hiding your phone and changing all your passwords? After you started finding every excuse to mention his name in every conversation we have? Was I that obvious?" Apparently I was. "Nothing physical happened," I insisted, clinging to that technicality like it would save me. "But you wanted it to. Don't lie to me, Nora. Not now. Not after everything." I stared at my hands, unable to meet his eyes. "It's complicated." "Actually, it's not complicated at all." He stood up, pacing now. "I spent 3 days thinking about this, driving in circles, and it's very simple. You have feelings for Theo. You want permission to act on them without losing me as your safety net. You want me to say it's okay so you don't have to feel guilty about what you're planning to do. Put that way, it sounded absolutely awful. That's not," I started. "I'm going to ask you one more time," he interrupted, "and I need the complete truth. Do you love him?" The question hung in the air between us like a loaded gun. I could lie. I should lie. It would be so easy to just deny everything and try to go back to how things were. Instead, like an idiot, I whispered, "I love you both." Miles nodded slowly, as if confirming something he already knew, but had hoped wasn't true. Then he walked to our bedroom without another word. I heard drawers opening, closet doors sliding, the sound of hangers scraping against the rod. When he returned 5 minutes later with a packed duffel bag, real panic finally hit me. "What are you doing?" "I'm going to stay with my brother in Florida for a while. I need to figure out what I want my life to look like." "Don't leave," I said, finally understanding the magnitude of what was happening. "We can talk about this. We can work through it. We can forget the whole thing ever happened." Miles looked at me with such profound sadness that I almost couldn't bear to see it. "That's the problem, Nora. We can't forget it. You can't unfeel what you feel for him, and I can't unhear what you said. The words are out there now." As he turned to leave, desperation completely took over. "Remember what we promised each other before we got married? No cheating, no divorce. Those were our only two rules, the only promises that mattered." He paused at the door, hand on the handle. "Funny how you remember the second rule but completely forgot about the first one." "I didn't cheat on you, Miles, didn't you?" he asked quietly, and closed the door behind him. I collapsed on the floor, phone still in my hand, 50 unanswered texts to Miles glowing on the screen like accusations. That's when I saw it. One new message from Theo. "Hey stranger, haven't heard from you in a while. Want to grab drinks soon?" I threw my phone across the room, watching it shatter against the wall, finally understanding what I'd gambled away. 8 years of marriage for a fantasy that was already crumbling before my eyes. 2 weeks later, after Miles had been radio silent except for one text confirming he'd arrived safely in Florida, I finally broke down and reached out to Theo. Just casual. "Hey, been dealing with some personal stuff. Could use a friend right now." His response wasn't what I expected. "Heard about you and Miles having issues. Probably best if we don't hang out right now. Sorry." The man I'd destroyed my marriage for didn't even want me anymore. I'd lost everything for absolutely nothing at all whatsoever.